Now the purpose of this short video is to get you started with Python. It's to introduce you to it or to be used as a recap if you've been away from the program for a while. Now of course you can use the downloaded version of Python, so we're going to be learning Python 3, or you can use a free online website called trinket.io. So if you just search that in Google, it will come up with this website. Now as you can see, I've already logged in and I've created an account. You don't have to create an account, but if you don't have an account on here, then you'll need to copy and paste your code to a notepad and then add it back to the website as and when you need to use it. If you create an account, then you can save your trinkets on the website, which makes it much easier and much more helpful to access them again. So once I have an account like so I've gone in, signed in, created an account, I'm going to go to new trinket and then I'm just going to use Python. Now the language used here is Python 3, so both Python 2 and Python 3 codes are accepted here. We're going to be using Python 3 because it is the most up-to-date version of Python, and Python 2 is slowly being phased out as a language. So the very first thing we want to do is to learn and recognize variables. It's really important that you understand what a variable is and also what something called a string is. Now a string is also really important, so let's look at variables and strings together. Now a string is basically a series of text that doesn't hold a value, so you can't add two strings together. They are completely separate and normally they hold characters. So for example, if I write hello world, that is a string and I've given it a function, so the function is in purple. If I push run, you can see that it prints out hello world over here for me. So just click run and then it runs the program for you. Now because I put print there, it gives it a function. Now if I had welcome message and I changed this here and I wrote welcome equals hello world, if I run that, nothing happens. Now what this is this black writing here is a variable, so it's basically saying that welcome is hello world, and what this is basically doing to Python is it's telling it you need to store this information for me, so it saves it in the RAM in the computer. So what it does is it holds onto that information so that you can use it later on. When you print something, you can't recall that information, but a variable can be reused. So really, if you're going to use a sentence or a variable like a username or a welcome message more than once, it should really be saved as a variable. So let's go ahead and print that variable. So if I did print open bracket welcome and then a close bracket, what I'm basically saying is print whatever you're equal to. So when you run, you get hello world. And that's a very simple way of looking at variables and strings. So it's really important that you understand those two things because they build up the very fundamentals and logics that are used within Python.